Debra L Morrison is a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and international motivational speaker. She's a recipient of the Marquis's Who's Who Women of Influence Award, a seasoned life-centered certified financial planner and empowered retirement coach. She partners with women to maximize their return on life, not just their investments. Debra has been featured on CNN, ABC, and MSG's Metro Money Television. She's also been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, the New York Times, Business Week, Money Magazine, Ladies' Home Journal, Nation's Business, CNN Money, Reader's Digest, Kiplinger's, and more. Debra coaches women to build their confidence, inspire a fulfilled life, and create an empowered relationship with their money. She teaches women that it's possible to both live in the moment while saving for the future. Known for her easy-to-understand speaking style, Debra combines sage wisdom with refreshing humor. Now you're in for a treat. Please welcome Debra L Morrison.
Why, thank you, and thank you for joining me for day 2 of my 3rd Women Bustin Barriers Summit. Yeah, we have busted barriers, a lot of them. Yes, we have. And I have 3 women with us today that are my friends, and I want to share them with you because they have a real message of empowerment. Now, just to recap of day 1, I think that was epic, right? Raise the hands. Epic? I cried. I laughed. I was in awe. I don't expect anything less today. And with that, I'm going to introduce our first panelist and guest, Zondra Evans. And I hope we get this right, Nancy, because Zondra, you know, she's all about the TV thing. Zondra, that 100% of your $47 upgrade to VIP is going to be donated to. Yes, it is. Now, yesterday's kickoff speaker, Lynn Twist, co-founded the Pachamama Alliance with her husband, Bill, in 1995. And she gave us a glimpse of the Pachamama Alliance yesterday. And I want you to know we've got an amazingly simple way for you still to be able to support this beautiful project. And they went down to the Akurar people at the face and at the mouth of the rainforest. And they spoke with the indigenous people. The indigenous people actually invited them in because as white Americans, we can come into countries and squash the indigenous people and their mission and their heart. And she wants no part of that. And they worked side by side. And when they got back to the United States, they founded the Pachamama Alliance. In essence, their mission statement is to empower indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest to preserve their lands and culture, and using insights gained from the work to educate and inspire individuals everywhere to bring forth a thriving, just, and sustainable world, to change the dream, if you will, of the modern world. Now, the Pachamama Alliance has supported the AQR people in gaining full title. This is huge, to 1.8 million acres of the rainforest. And it wouldn't have been that way because there's a lot of pollution and a lot of capitalization coming in, destroying a lot of the rainforest. And now they're working in Ecuador, Peru, Colombia, Brazil, and Bolivia. So it's easy for you today to support Pachamama Alliance and their mission. And you'll see the link in the chat. wecandoitwomen.com/speaker, I think it's -gifts. And this gives you that, there's actually a QR code, I believe, that you can donate even more. But as you upgrade your ticket, still available, and it will be available after today, to a VIP subscription, you'll get the recording of all 6 of our esteemed speakers, as well as, I'll turn right around, and 100% of that goes to the Pachamama Alliance. There's very, very small administrative expenses associated with that. I know Lynn Twist personally. I've been in her Sophia Circle last year. I'm going to be in it again this year. And I couldn't speak more highly of an authentic change maker along these lines of saving our planet, the lungs, if you will, of our planet, the Amazon. Lynn spent the first 40 or so years fighting hunger with the Hunger Project. And then she's morphed into, with her husband, Bill, the Pachamama Alliance. This is a society of indigenous people that welcomes Lynn and the people she brings to the Amazon, because there are various sojourners that they bring in so that they can get the vision and bring it back to their tribe in order to, as we say, expand the mission and be able to sustain that healing, all of the components of the Amazon. And so what you can do is you can see how you can upgrade to VIP, and you can see the full array of gifts from our speakers. Remind yourself, I brought these people in donating their time, and they have then on top of that given magnificently apropos gifts free for you. And these are going to help you and be tools, if you will, in your tool belt to accompany the money in your tool belt. Yeah, you've got to have money. You've got to use money as the tool it is, and couple this money with some of these free gifts and strategies in order to take your mission forward and help our planet, which is in pretty big need of help. So with that, I'm interested in, having anybody write questions in the chat about the Pachamama Alliance. Some people that were here yesterday, and Nancy will probably field them. Yet in the interest of time, I want to delve right into introducing our next guest, the esteemed Dr. Yvonne Oswald. So, Yvonne, join us, will you?
Oh, here I am.
Wonderful. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Nice seeing you guys. It's great.
I know.
I've been swimming every day for 18 months and I have muscles. Look.
Look at you. I'm jealous.
I was surprised. I found one day, I looked at my arm and I went, what the heck is that? And I was like, oh my God, I got a muscle.
I missed what you said. What were you doing for 18 months? Going to the gym.
20 lengths.
Yes, that's right. You're swimming.
Day. Yes.
You're swimming. That reminds me, I was reading about you. Of course, I could be like a month reading about you and still not be finished. And yet you were talking about, and perhaps in one of your books, that pick a number 1 to 10 and determine, like, if you're depressed or you're paralyzed or you're stuck, pick a number 1 to 10. Would it be better for me now to go swimming or to take a nap?
Yeah, so you do one at a time. So here, a quick way is the muscle testing. So you can do yes, which is strong, and no, which is like loose. So you can say, is it good for me to go swimming today? Yes. Is it good for me to go to the store? No. Right. So it's a very quick way to do it. You can say, so if you, Deborah, say, my name is Deborah, and
yes.
Paul.
Yes. My name is Deborah.
And my name is Anne.
My name is Anne.
See, very simple. So your body believes is actually, it catches on with the muscles. So with the 1 to 10, I do 1 is low, 10 is high. How good is it for me to have chicken today?
Yes.
6. Obviously, I don't need much protein today. How good to have a beer? 2. How good, and the quicker you do it, the faster you get the answer, the more you're actually in touch with your unconscious mind. What happens is when we're kids, the parents overrule the kids' intuition. So it's like, what do you want to do today, Johnny? I'd love to go swimming. Oh, I've just had my hair done, darling. We can't go. What else would you like to do? Can I go out with my friends? Well, I'll have to call them. And what happens is they end up doing what we really want them to do. Instead of just saying, would you like to read a book or this? Give them 2 alternatives that are both correct. So what happens is they get scared to actually say something. And the mom ends up just being a helicopter parent and overruling everything. And it literally overrules our intuition. And we're not in touch anymore with that intuition. So if you can have a daily 1 to 10 or just yes, no with this, I used to do the pendulum. And I found it was always, I don't know, what do you think? I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah.
So making decisions is probably one of the things that we need to be taught to do. So if you've got kids, it's what I used to do is do a list for breakfast, eggs, toast, etc. And I would literally play, waitress or waiter, what would Madam like for breakfast? And she'd say, what's that say? Eggs. So she'd cross it out. And she'd say, what's that say? I'd say, toast. Oh yeah, tick. And I'd go, very good choice, Madam. And I'd go and make it, right? So we made it into a game, the decision making. And if you can do that from day one, you'll have very strong adults when the kids grow up, because they know how to make a decision, and it's going to be approved of in every area, rather than, oh, I don't think so. Right? We end up second guessing ourselves all the time normally, because the parents don't teach decision making. They're very interesting.
Very interesting. And, I'm guilty now of just launching right into this convo. And I'm so appreciative of your coming in with such great examples, Dr. Yvonne. And so let me introduce Dr. Yvonne for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of knowing her. She's a master clinical hypnotherapist, a master neuro-linguistic programming, NLP practitioner, a timeline therapist, a regression therapist, a hypnotherapist, a seminar leader certified in hypnoanesthesia. You're going to have to explain that to me. And she's always on TV and national radio, whatnot, being interviewed because she is so talented in so many therapies and so many uses and understandings of our mind. So British born, you can tell by the accent.
Yeah, I know the accent's still there.
It's right there. 20 plus years experience. And yet let's go back, if we can, we were talking about women busting barriers, and everybody has a past, and some of the past is less than glorious. You have a glorious present. And yet, if you'll speak about us, you have suffered an unspeakable loss, Yvonne.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to tell us the parts of the story that you are comfortable telling us.
Well, I was brought up in Manchester, as you can hear, and I was physically, sexually, emotionally abused by my father. He was not a kind person, and hit every day. And then when I was 12, my sister died. She was 10, and he turned around and he said, "I wish you died instead of her." And it just completely, my whole teens was just very wild, obviously. And I went from country to country. I left England as soon as I could. I went to live in South Africa for 3 years. I lived in Italy for 3 years teaching. I went to Portugal for 3 years, ended up in Canada. And I literally started working on myself. And I was really surprised that people were kind in Canada, because they're really not very kind in England.
Interesting.
I was like, wow, this is interesting. These people are really weird. They're nice to each other.
Yeah. Hey.
Wow. Surprise. And then I thought I'd finally got over a lot of the stuff. And I did so much work on myself. I decided I wasn't going to have a child until I cleared enough stuff so I didn't put the energy on her, or, When I had her, it was a conscious decision. And it literally, every single word I decided that was going to come out of my mouth was going to be positive. So I was actually peeling potatoes one day, and I was just about to say, "If you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry for." And I was like, oh my gosh, I was about to say that.
Yes.
And I literally thought, okay, from today, this has to be edited. And I literally changed everything. I didn't say no at all for 3 years. I found other ways to do it. So if it was crossing the road, non-negotiable, it's non-negotiable. You hold my hand. Everything else, I had 3 rules. If it hurts you, if it hurts someone else, or it intrudes on someone's space, then we can say no. Otherwise, it's negotiable. And it worked very, very well. And literally, when she was brought up with positive thinking, positive speaking. And of course, she loved singing, acting, dancing. She got into New York's AMDA at 18, and she was there doing the BA in performing arts. Came back to Niagara Falls, and I had a big healing house at that time, and I was doing the work I do. She was already helping people with their mental health at 18 years old. She was doing classes with them. She got her master's in NLP at 18. And then she had a swelled up ovary, went into hospital. She didn't have cancer when she went in. She actually got cancer because they didn't bother taking the ovary out for 2 weeks. So when they finally took the ovary out, it was necrotic, and it fell down into the body cavity and Bob's your uncle, she got cancer. She died 18 months later. And at the time, I was like, that's impossible. God's already given me like a lot of stuff happening in my life. This is not a possibility that the one person I want to pass on this knowledge to change the world, I want to make it better for the children. And of course, when she died, we were in Mexico at the Chipster Clinic, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. And for 4 years, I woke up every day just wanting to die. And there's no other way around that. You have to just learn to live with it. And I consciously didn't do any work on myself for 3 months at all. I refused to work on myself. I just said, whatever comes up needs to come up. I cannot stop this. Right. And it was finally, funnily enough, it was one of Nancy's retreats that I went to not long after she died. And it was the first time I realized I'd smiled in 2 years. And it was amazing. I was like, wow, I actually could possibly get through this, or learn to live with it anyway. Mm-hmm. And since then, I was still in Niagara Falls, and I realized I was going to end up a dog lady if I was by myself. I didn't have family. I didn't have anybody anymore. And I sold the house completely, came to Dominican Republic. I'm living here like half the year. It's great. Bought a little apartment sight unseen, and it's amazing here. I'm doing my online work. It's freed up my time because I'm not having to fix all the house all the time. It's freed up my time so that I can do online trainings, which I'm designing, and I can go back to Toronto. I'm going back to Toronto in October and November to teach the practitioner and matters NLP. I've already got people booked up. It's great. We've got a nice full class, and I'm still doing all my work online. I'm still doing my 4-hour breakthrough blueprint, as you know.
Yes.
Which I'm becoming really well known for. It's totally non-situational. It's fantastic. It clears anything and everything. PTSD, depression, suicidal thoughts, simple.
4-hour breakthrough blueprint, guys. Write it down. 4-hour breakthrough blueprint. And, a complete innovation in the field of neurological medicine. Of course, I apologize. Yes. Of course, Dr. Oswald is the best-selling author of these 2 books, Every Word Has Power. There you go. And Key Speech. And these are just completely filled. I love this quote in Every Word Has Power. It happens to be on page 8. Your reality can be as good as your heart desires, because if you can imagine it, your unconscious believes it to be true and can attract it for you. So explain how our subconscious mind is like a quantum internet, right?
It's amazing. We invented the internet because it works like our mind. That's how we actually invented it. What's interesting is 85% of our thoughts are known to be negative.
Yes, exactly.
We hear 150,000 negative commands before we're 7 years old. So we're walking around with this old programming that just is not necessary anymore. We're not in life-threatening situations every day, like in the jungle anymore. Yes. We're still using the 200,000-year-old limbic brain that ran from then. What we want to do is get into the prefrontal cortex, which is directly associated with the nucleus accumbens, which is your reward center. We want to get out of the amygdala and limbic and into the prefrontal cortex, so that I call it the happy brain. The way to do that is releasing negative emotions and limiting beliefs. And your success starts with self-talk. So if we can simply remove the little clouds above our head, we're standing in the sunshine. You can ask for whatever you want, and it will be given to you beautifully. So the very first step is release the negative emotions and limiting beliefs. So once you're there, that's all it needs. Release the negative emotion and preserve the positive lesson. That's it. If you release the belief and emotion, preserve the positive lesson. Those are the only 2 instructions that the mind needs. And of course, it doesn't hear negatives. So if I say to you, don't think of a pink elephant, you have no option but to think of it. It's like they say to children, don't touch that stove, or the kid reaches out. Well, hello.
Yeah. Right.
And it's the same, if you type Windows into the internet, you'll get lots of sites on Windows. If you type fairies, you'll get lots of sites on fairies. Who knows if fairies exist? Whatever we program our mind to believe, it will believe it, because it has no judgment. It's what's called a servo mechanism. It's a machine, just like the internet. Oh yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
And the whole thing of NLP is we're reprogramming the brain. We're actually changing the neurological pathways, so that where we have this memory over here, and every time we think of it, we go to it, and not very pleasant. when we can replace it with a fabulous memory, we'll attempt to get back to that old memory that's not there. It's absolutely spectacular and very easy to do.
I've experienced it. I mean, and so you anchor it like on a knuckle or something. I mean, these are magnificent tools for us. Now, you've been known to say you can stop procrastination in seconds.
Yes.
Help us do it. Because a lot of us are procrastinating from moving forward and monetizing and expanding our mission. So get us out of here.
They actually named it the false hope syndrome in Toronto. The Toronto University called it the false hope syndrome. We set ourselves too big a goal, too far ahead. So you can actually plan this next Christmas or Hanukkah because you know you're coming towards it. You can't tell me what you're going to do in 5 years' time. Right? It's impossible, like if unless you're just standing still. So what we want to do, we want a long-term goal with a short-term hook. And those short-term hooks are the ones that lead to that long-term goal. So the idea is it's very much like stage fright procrastination. The stage fright comes when you're ready to go onto the stage. So in NLP, what we do, we take people onto the stage and everybody goes, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Great job. You did amazing. Yay. And you've got this feel good around they being on the stage then when they go back and start to go on the stage, they just remember the end result. So that's what we want to do. So think about something you've been procrastinating about. I've got something actually. I've got my online training. It's stop and start and stop and start. So I'm going to go to the end of my online training. I'm going to set myself a realistic date of October the 30th. Okay. So, what have you been procrastinating about?
Updating my latest book.
Updating your book. Okay, cool. So, give me a date when you would like to realistically update it.
October 31st. Halloween. Okay.
Halloween. Awesome. And what will convince you that you've done it?
Oh, I'll see it.
In your hand?
Yeah, or on the screen.
On the screen? Mm-hmm. Okay. How will you feel? What will the emotions be like when you see that?
Total relief. It can't take as long as I've been, back burnering it.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and who are you going to tell about that you've updated it, by the way?
Probably a couple close friends.
Okay. So I want you to imagine sitting on the phone going, I'm looking at it now. It's great. I'm so happy I've done it. Cool.
Excellent.
So we're going to close your eyes, float above the body, facing the future, the timeline of the future, float to the future to October the 31st, 2023. Remember, we always have to put the year in. And I want you to look down at yourself in the computer, watching the computer, talking to your friend, and then go down into the body and literally turn the colors up, turn the sounds up, turn the feelings up. Absolutely amazing. Click your fingers, float above the body. And then I want you to blow 3 breaths into that picture. It's called mana from Hawaiian. Again, click your fingers, lock it in. And then turn back to now and ask your unconscious mind to fulfill your needs and to align and realign all the circumstances so you can support having everything you want. And you can, can't you? Because you want to make changes, haven't you? Yeah. And then float back into the body now and come back into the room. Open your eyes. How do you feel about the book?
It shall be done.
Yeah. It makes it super easy. It's no longer this big, it's absolutely amazing. And that's literally every single thing. When you've got the conclusion that's happy, your unconscious mind's fine with that. And worry and anxiety, the two things that's the 21st century thing, like depression was the last century. The 21st century is very definitely anxiety. And what I'm finding is that with anxiety, the parents have so many expectations of us and other people have so many expectations. We end up getting so many expectations of ourselves. And what I find with women particularly is that when I'm doing palmistry with them or tarot or numerology or doing therapy with them or doing the breakthrough blueprint, what happens is they absolutely have such high standards of themselves that they demand that from whoever they're with as well. Mm-hmm. So they're setting themselves up for disappointment, they're setting the other person up for failure. So it's really important that we lower our expectations and celebrate what we've done. What I recommend people to do, actually, I don't like a gratitude book. I gave it, because every time I did a gratitude book, it was like, thank God today's over. Hope tomorrow's better. Hope tomorrow's better than today. I'm still breathing. It was that kind of thing. It was like, wow, wasn't very grateful. So what I'm doing is an accomplishments book. If you do 21 days of an accomplishments book, and not big accomplishments, tiny things. So if you set yourself 3 accomplishments a day, like posting a letter or making a phone call or whatever, you write the 3 accomplishments down. Any more than that is bonus.
Okay.
And what happens then is you go to bed satisfied instead of going to bed thinking of all the things you could have done, should have done, would have done.
Nice.
And
so you're doing that at the end of the day.
It completes it. It completes the day. And the biggest thing that we have is we go to sleep. Oh my God, I only did 30 out of the 32 jobs I should have done. You did 30 jobs. Celebrate it, right? So yeah, very important that we get people to realize that the day needs to be complete. The day needs to be complete. You know, kids have their little book to with a happy ending to go to sleep. We have to train ourselves that when we go to put our head down, that's when the day's over. Thank you. Tomorrow's a new one. Yeah.
Wow. And so I read about, your term, the magic of motivation, and it's all interlaced.
Yes, it is. And if you set yourself small tasks, I mean, I always read the goal setting things. They always say, choose the biggest one first. I'm like, whoa, there's a way to sit and have a coffee for 3 hours. So it's choose the smallest and easiest to do first. Yeah. Because it's getting the momentum moving that makes the difference. It really does.
It's the most.
If you can get it, it's like when you're doing a snowball. Getting the thing moving it's fine once it's moving. Getting it started is the big thing, and that's what will get us actually moving along the timeline for success. And of course, being NLP number 4 in the world, it's very important that you actually copy someone else's success. So if you can have your own little sideline. However, if someone's doing really well at it, copy them, model them. If you're setting a website up, find someone who you like and model their website. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. You just model it. You don't have a very, you do it really easily then.
Right. And I don't know if you guys just missed that. You just slipped it in. Number 4 in the world, the big wide world. This woman is recognized as that brilliant of an NLP guru. Let's talk a minute, because you've shared with me some of the statistics. Of course, I like math, and I like payoffs, right? And the statistics of how beautifully hypnosis works were mind-boggling to me. I'll just read them real quick, and then I want you to opine. If you can go into psycho, and I'm not trying to bash any of these other disciplines, and yet Dr. Alfred Barrios apparently brought these studies together in a psychotherapy literature piece. Psychoanalysis after 600 sessions. If you're taking notes, 600 psychoanalysis, 38% recovery from whatever you're dealing with. Behavioral therapy, 22 sessions, 72% recovery. Hypnotherapy, six sessions, 93%. Holy cow. Do you start with that?
I love the combination of hypnosis and NLP. They're kind of hand in glove. And NLP is even faster. So, Deborah, have we got time for 1 minute exercise here?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it.
So, frustration. Everybody gets frustrated every day. It's a super simple thing to demo. So I'd like you to close your eyes and think of a time you were frustrated. I guarantee you can find one the last 2 days. Okay? Got that time?
Mm-hmm.
Good. If you were to imagine a place in your body where it would be, where would it be?
No, right in my chest.
Okay. And if it had a shape and a color, what shape and color would it be?
It was dark. It was black. Yeah.
Black. And what shape?
It was a big circle.
Okay. Send that big circle, that big black circle, spinning clockwise or anti-clockwise. Which way would it like to go?
Counterclockwise.
Okay, cool. And now pop it out of your chest, tip it upside down in front of you, and now it's going clockwise, and make it a different shape and a different color. What shape and color is it?
Triangle.
Yep. Purple triangle. Good. Put that purple triangle going clockwise back in your chest. Lock it in. Click your fingers. And open your eyes. Do you smell popcorn? Smell is the fastest way out of a memory. Doesn't matter whether you do or not. Now, go ahead and try and get frustrated. Think of that time again. Try and get frustrated. Neutral, right?
Right.
Completely neutral. You'll never get back there because I sent it off in a different direction. Okay. That's how easy it is to clear PTSD, to clear suicidal thoughts, depression. Anything you like can be cleared with NLP in seconds and maybe a minute. Right? So to me, that the idea of the talk therapy is a total waste of time, and it anchors the feelings into the body even more. We hold our emotions in our body. So anger, sadness, fear, guilt are all in our body. Anxiety is a future-based emotion, which we deal with in a different way, which is simple. It's rather like procrastination. And what we want to do is clear those negative emotions before we go on to putting goal setting in and clearing and putting. When I do the breakthrough blueprint, it's 4 hours or more. And I usually get people to send me their story ahead of time. I don't care what the story it is. If you tell me about it, I can clear whatever you've got there. What's more important is it's the emotional residue it leaves behind the story, whether it's sexual abuse or whatever it is. And we all, of course, use self-soothing mechanisms like alcoholism and drugs and workaholics. We always use those to soothe ourselves, or food. What we want to do is make sure that we're completely clearing those programs. So I literally get all that they send me. 27 pages is the record so far. And he had a lot of stuff. So, but what's beautiful about it is I'll literally delete all the limiting beliefs. First of all, we have to unwind the beliefs, then clear the emotions, and then I do hypnosis at the end to lock it all in. And everything they say during the session that's beautiful ends up in the hypnosis, so it's totally tailored. And then a week later, I'll see them again. And usually what happens is, exactly. Usually what happens during the week is I guarantee whatever we dealt with on that day is gone. You won't ever need to experience it again. It's magic. The following week, what I found is that people would find memories that they hadn't even thought of in years suddenly came up for resolution. And it's like the unconscious mind goes, hey, I just found a cupboard. I just found a file folder that you didn't talk about. Can we talk now?
Let's do it.
And then the second visit is clearing up the little bits that came up afterwards. It's really spectacular. And it's completely, I don't cherry pick. It's non-situational. So when I clear anger, all the dominoes associated with anger will also be gone. Magic. Fabulous stuff. I love it. I mean, I was talking to a lady the other day about doing a TED talk, and she said, shame you're not passionate about this, isn't it? I'm like, oh. Love it.
Adorable. Well, I am just so stoked about this. And I have, just for clearing the record, I have had one of these sessions with Dr. Yvonne, and I found it to be completely riveting and very pivotal for me. So I recommend it without reservation. So let's open it up for questions. So I'm hoping
please.
We pick Dr. Yvonne's mind.
We got questions.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, let me just mention that Dr. Yvonne has given an amazing gift, Attract Prosperity on the Mind Super Free way to redirect your neurological channels and establish new abundance patterns. I know I'm getting it. Be sure you go to the speaker gift page. We can do it women.com/speaker-gifts. And, oh my goodness, Barbara Clark.
She's given 3 gifts. She's giving like 3 gifts. These meditations.
I know, it's amazing. So generous. All right, Barbara Clark has a question for you. Your line should be open, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Thank you. Yes, hi, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yvonne. This is my question. How can I transform a difficult relationship that has been traumatic for myself and the other individual? And this difficult relationship has been going on. It's been difficult for quite some time. And there's definitely trauma for both of us.
Are you still in it?
Well, yes and no. It's someone I'm related to. And so we're related, but we're not in communication. Let's say that.
Okay. Very good technique for this one, right? Number one, you can go to a YouTube channel and look up Yvonne Oswald Mind Magic. And what you'll be doing is putting your left finger here, and you'll be saying, release the root cause of all the trauma around whoever it is, preserve the positive lessons for my health and benefit 3 times. And when you do that, you can do that as many times as you like. Another way, Barbara, is visual recall, visual construct is, I'm mirroring it for you, it's on your right. Okay, so what you do is you imagine that person with their guide. I always like them with their guide. Imagine them with the guide. Close your eyes, take a deep, you can actually do it now, right? Ready? Close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you release the breath, throw that light around the person and his guide and push him into the light so it disappears. Bring him back again with his guide. Take a deep breath. Blow the breath around him. Push him into the light so that he's with his guide and you just see nothing. And then the third time is the final time. Bring him back with his guide. Take a deep breath. Blow the breath around him in a circular motion. Push him into the light with his guide and leave him there. What you'll find is it's going to immediately neutralize any feelings. If you do that literally every day, you're giving them light, which is what we want to do. We want to wish everybody light, because he's also in your soul group, right? You want to send beautiful light to your soul group. So how do you feel about him now? A little bit more neutral?
Yes, I definitely feel more neutral, and also feel like it's not such a heavy burden, like I can move forward.
And if you do the mind magic with all the times I feel like I've had heavy burdens, preserve the positive lessons of my health and benefit, that will clear it as well. Amazing. If you want to, actually, I have a 2-page list. The whole first page is all negative emotions that I've found over the last 15 years. So you can literally email me, say, I'd like this spectrum of negative emotions, please. I'll send you that with pleasure for free. That's fine. So you can actually learn to name the emotions. The reason emotions don't clear more often than not is people don't know the names of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
They're in one of these 2 books. I just don't remember which one, those emotions, but go ahead.
I've got a better list than that, actually. It's improved since then.
So we just emailed Dr. Yvonne at globalwelcome.com and asked
it's
for the
Dr. Nancy. It's Dr. at globalwelcome.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. All right. Let's go ahead to our next question.
Okay.
And this is Nancy G. If you would like to come live, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question, or I can ask it for you.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Dr. Yvonne, this has been fantastic, but I am always challenged with the visualization practices, and I'm wondering.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you asked that question.
So I'm wondering how to learn, like how to embrace that more. Like, what can I practice?
You don't need to break it. Yeah. Well, okay. The beautiful thing about this, Nancy, you're 15% of the population. You're one of the auditory digital people, like Sheldon, like Dr. Spock. And when you close your eyes, I was married to someone for 25 years who couldn't visualize. And that's the reason is when you absorb information, you don't use a visual cue. You actually think about it. So the 2 words that you need are imagination and pretend. If you were to pretend to see a tree, you could actually see a tree. If I say to you, visualize a tree, you'll go, I can't. Right? So I always say pretend is your best friend. To pretend, you have to use your unconscious mind, which is where the answer is. And if you imagine a tree, then you can do it. So all you need to do when you're listening to someone saying, visualize this, visualize that, and we're 65% of the population, the visuals. So, we've got it over everybody. And it's a fast system. A visual system absorbs massive information simultaneously, really amazingly fast. If you're auditory digital, you think in a linear fashion. It's a slower thinking process. So you'll want to discuss things. You'll think about things coming to mind. And if you can simply use the words pretend or imagine and replace those words when people are doing that, you'll get there easily.
Excellent. I can see that would help. I appreciate that.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's really interesting. That's why when I'm teaching the NLP, you need to know about the 4 systems. because you need to know how to communicate well with whoever you're with. It's actually, funnily enough, the thing that falls down in relationships is usually because the two people are using two different systems.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else?
All right, I believe that was our last question other than the comments. Yvonne, you are truly the best. Thank you so much. I needed that. Create momentum. I love it. So be sure, everyone, grab those gifts from Dr. Yvonne. And if you want the list of emotions, just email dr.yvonne@globalwelcome.com.
And I'm happy to talk to anybody. You know, I'm available as long as it's WhatsApp, guys, because it costs me $17 if it's just a normal call. But call me on WhatsApp, and I'm usually available in the morning or in the evenings. And I'm happy to talk to anyone. I've been like that my whole life. It's good to go. Don't need to make an appointment. Just call me.
You're amazing, Dr. Yvonne. I have so enjoyed and been blessed by, and both of them. I love your fun component, and I've been blessed by you and your brilliance, and it just exudes. And I'm just so very, very pleased to know you and to share you with these esteemed friends who have registered and those who will be watching on the replay. So please tune in to whatever Dr. Oswald is putting out, because you want to be picking up what she's putting down. I'm just saying. So until we meet again, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and your brilliance.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fun.
Take good care.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so I am just so very, very happy to share with you an opportunity, if you will, for you to up-level your finances. Because see, the common thread in all of these guests who are my friends is that they had an idea, they had a burning vision, a mission. They had something to propel them from the ordinary. They saw something in life. They may have felt the pain themselves, and they said, I can fill that gap of knowledge. I can bring something to the table, if it's my delivery, if it's my content, if it's a confluence. And what I have seen in the financial world, having served as a financial planner and asset manager for 42 years, it was child labor, for high net worth individuals, and the last 3 years as a financial and leadership coach, is that money seems to be a very, very talked about entity. It's everywhere. And yet few women, particularly mature women who have suffered some horrible socialization, really understand how to use this tool. It's loaded, I grant you. And the socialization didn't do us any favors. So being raised on a farm, I really like to talk about where the rubber meets the road. You see, we didn't have instructions. I was tromping through the fields at age 5 when the cows were out. We had to chase the cows, get them back in, find the hole in the fence and mend it. And I looked at my 2 years older sister as we were trudging through the winter frost and snow and ice, freezing. And I said, did you ever fix a fence before? And she said, no. And of course I hadn't. And we used this bevy of tools around our jackets, stuffed in our pockets, because I didn't want to go back there again the next morning. And so what I want to give you is the fence mending tools, where something has slipped. Your boat has sprung a leak. You've lost something because it's in that forgiving of ourselves for either not knowing, making a financial misstep, or whatever, that so many of us, and so many women in particular, get stuck. And I'm about getting unstuck. And so I put together a 3-part blueprint for what I call intentional wealth. And I called it a kickstart program because it is just that. And I've got a couple people on here speaking about how coaching with me has given them that comeuppance, if you will, and given them the keys to their future. And so I say, have you come across problems that seem to hold you back? And I developed this course, and I'm going to just dive down into the 3 parts of it that you can tap into now on a recorded basis. And it's really very, very complete as far as I'm concerned, having dealt with clients over 42 years and their kids and their grandkids, master's degree in retirement planning. This is the time that shakes people up. Am I going to be able to do it? And not only did I work with them and tease out the goals that they were looking to achieve, but I surpassed, with their cooperation, of course, those goals and accentuated the monies that they gave to charity, for example. Yes, I did. And I'm not a genius, yet I do know what works in finance. And I'm funny, and I use analogies to bring finances home to us, normal people, if your specialty and your training in life wasn't finance like mine was. And so I start with part one, financial self-awareness. And this is understanding your money story. We've all got one. And until we forgive any missteps, we are going to be held back. Yes, we are. And so I want us to reframe that and adopt and write our new story, which will be far more powerful. We're going to take an inventory. We're going to become We Can Do It Women, which is taking radical responsibility for ourselves right here, right now. Because it's only in that honesty that we can grow, or grow in the fullest way possible. Part two, effective money management. You know, I have people come to me all the time saying, oh, Tesla stock or Microsoft stock. The emphasis of that analogy is on the wrong syllable, women. What I want us to start with is a plan, but you can't plan without confidence, because you're going to kick yourself before you get out of the gate. So we up-level your confidence saying, this is where I was, this is where I am, and I'm looking forward to where I'm headed. I've made financial missteps as a seasoned professional. Warren Buffett has made investing mistakes worth billions. We are going to make missteps. The key is in our recovery. Fall 7, get up 8. So we're going to learn about investing and risk management. Risk is not a 4-letter word that is negative. Risk gives us return, is the currency for our return. Now, some of this is not like what you've been hearing from a broker, right? They're pitching products. I'm interested in getting us on the planning track. And then we get to some more advanced strategies where one strategy from an investment angle intertwines with a tax reduction strategy. And pretty soon we are developing intentional wealth. And that's what I'm offering in 2 different packages. And they're different. The first one is a $500 value, which we're putting out today for $1.97. And that is the recording of those 3 parts. And then there's a self-analysis workbook that comes with it. And you'll go a long way with this. And yet, if you really want to dive in and accentuate and accelerate your progress, track me for one-on-one sessions. And that's what you're going to get for $997. Generally available for $1,500. And you'll get initial 30-minute with me intake, and that's going to be completely digested by me. And then I'm going to come back to you, ask you to fill in some of the details, and then we're going to spend an hour and a half together, one-on-one. I don't know. I don't bet. It's not my want. I've never had a person that didn't walk away with an idea that was double or triple what they have ever paid me. And my clients paid me on average $30,000 a year. So you may want to tap into 2 hours with Debra. You know, I'm retired from my first career. I want to travel the world. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but I think I have an angle that can meet some students where they are. And I'd invite you to consider taking advantage of that. 1, to create your own intentional wealth, to fill up your cup. And then when it's excess and spilling over into the saucer, you get to be philanthropic with that saucer contents. So with that, I invite you to contemplate that. I'll circle back at the end and give you a tad more information on it, but I want to get to our third and final guest for today. And I am introducing to you, and hopefully we welcome to the stage right now, Linda Fisk. It always takes a split second to promote her to the screen. So let's imagine her here right now. Linda.
Linda's having a little issue getting her camera working, so she should be able to pop on the screen any minute now.
I have every confidence.
Linda, let's do a mic check at least if you want.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you.